These are times in which a genius would wish to live. It is not in the still calmness of life that the character of the great man is formed. The habits of the vigorous mind are formed by contending with difficulties. Great necessities call out great virtues. When the mind is raised and animated by the scenes that engage the heart, well then, great character and virtues that have laid dormant have a chance to awaken into life. And the character of the hero and the statesman is formed. Abigail Adams, 1780, to her husband and future president. You should read what she had to say about education, women, slavery, kind of the AOC of her era without any rights. But she used her platform, and she had a very special kind of courage. She had the courage to redefine what was happening in the moment in a way that she could step up on it and to create a possibility of a different future. Abigail courage. I'm an artist. As an actor, I get to hang out in the sandbox of life. I play around with emotion and facial expressions and body language and words and no words and motion and no motion, relating, not relating, intent, interpretation. All of this comes together to create story. Story. Scott Momaday has one of my favorite quotes. Who are you? I'm asked. I am the story of myself. I love this. I love the idea that I am not a fixed thing, that I am expanding and growing and changing, and I believe the story of our country and the story of our democracy is likewise an unfolding story. So, what are we doing with the story that we're creating? What are we doing with how we are telling our stories to ourselves, to each other in this time? We have the challenge and we have the possibility of creating a different story. Now let's get real about something right now. We are not living in the most challenging of times. It's intense, it's disruptive, but this is not the most troubling times. A very revered historian, Doris Kearns Goodwin, writes in her new recent book, Leadership in Turbulent Times, and she lays out the chaos of the genesis of our republic. The grief-filled devastation of the Civil War, the upheaval of the Vietnam and the Civil Rights era. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not engaged at that level. However, we are living in really, truly remarkable times, if we choose to embrace it that way. We are at a juncture where we actually have the potential for seismic growth, extraordinary global paradigm change, and the ability to collaborate, to creatively solution across all of humanity. We've never had that opportunity before in the history of our existence on this planet. We do now, if we choose to embrace that. It's exciting, it's exceptional and extraordinary, and it's really scary. Fear. Fear. It paralyzes so many of us now. Thomas Friedman laid out in his book, Thank You for Being Late, The Optimist's Guide to Thriving in an Age of Acceleration. He outlines that we are indeed living in a really extraordinary period of time. It's exponential the last 12 years. And he intersects it with what changes in the world and certainly in climate change, how that's compounding. And he also talks about the walls that many people are building to hold back that tide of change and how unsustainable that is, figuratively, literally. And he talks about helping each other learn how to dance in the winds of change. That's going to take Abigail courage. We have to help each other dance in the winds of change. I'm going to paraphrase him right now. He speaks about life should not be filled with things that we fear, but rather things that are only waiting to be understood. And the more that we understand, in this period of time, the less that we fear. So, I choose to believe that we can do this differently. I choose to believe that I can get up tomorrow morning and I can be part of tomorrow. That there will be a tomorrow for our young people. I choose to tell a different story. I invite you to join me in telling a different story, to framing all of this very differently. What will that story look like? How will you share that? What things are you focusing on now, and what things could you? We can all each go out and see where things are being done remarkably different. And we can bring that back home. And we can help each other stay on our surfboards. Democracy. It comes from the root, Greek root. Demos, Greek for strength. Kratias, Greek for people. People strength. All the people. That's what I'm choosing to believe in. I'm going to ask you to join me as we consciously invoke the courage of Abigail and ride out these waves of change. Thank you.